Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Raid Bosses Solo. Today I've got the finale for Season 1, because as a lot of you guys are aware, this DLC 4 was the final part, the final stage to the Season Pass. But Gearbox have announced that they will be releasing more DLC for this game, which is absolutely amazing. In my opinion, if you're a Borderlands lover, then I expect that you'll be pretty pleased with that as well. But yeah, I mean, today I've got the Ancient Dragons of Destruction. I will be killing them with Zero, with a gun build. I don't know, the gun build with the Zero is a pretty solid choice for killing these guys. I'd say it's probably only rivaled by, probably, I don't know, Salvador the Gunzerker, which I've been like avoiding for like a very, very long time throughout my Borderlands sort of playthroughs and stuff. Sal is by far the best character in the game for soloing raid bosses, just because you can tank damage and do like an extremely high amount of damage at the same time. All you really need to do is like hold on to like a ruby or a grog nozzle, and then in the other hand you just need something like an interfacer or like an unkempt herald, and then if you spec into money shot, all you're going to be doing is taking like a crap ton of damage like all the time. And then your shields are going to deplete, and then you're just going to get stacks and stacks of money shot, which is pretty devastating. I don't even think the B shield is like as power. If you get like full damage on the bosses with like the B shields, I'm pretty sure that money shot still probably like outclasses it. But I mean, aside from that, you could even like use like Salvador with the B shield, and then use like money shot as well, and I'm pretty sure that would be pretty devastating. But I don't know, I like the, I really like the Assassin. Like, if you're subscribed to me, you'll know that I'm pretty addicted to using the Assassin, just because of Deception. Deception is so useful. And as you can see, what I do is, generally I go into Deception, I put Kunai on the enemies if I'm low on health, and then I just quickly swap out to the Grog Nozzle, and that pretty much completely like gens all of my health. And you just see, I just flick through the weapons. It doesn't take longer than a second just for my health to like completely regen. And yeah, you don't even really need to use the Grog Nozzle at all. So yeah, that's pretty much the main reason why I'm using the Grog Nozzle in this fight. You can do it with the Ruby as well. The Ruby's more ideal with like a melee build with this character. And also if you're doing like a shit ton of damage, then also the Ruby can be just as good as the Grog Nozzle. It just depends on how much damage you do, because it heals like a percentage of what damage you do. But yeah, anyway, I'll talk about the boss fight, because obviously this is what this series is all about. It's about helping you guys with like tactics and stuff to solo these guys. Maybe you just like a challenge, or maybe you haven't got anyone to play with, but yeah, I mean, the idea of this series is just to help you guys get better at the game. Well, not even better at the game, but just let you in on like little tactics and stuff to sort of doing these guys. Maybe you're struggling or whatever, but yeah, that's the idea of these, and yeah, that's what I'm going to talk about right now. So to start off with this fight, I like to get Brood down. Brood is like the caustic dragon that like spits out other little dragons, which is kind of weird. I don't really know how that works. As far as I'm aware, dragons aren't conceived through the mouths of other dragons, but I don't know, I don't really know too much about dragons, so I could be completely wrong. But I like to get Brood down right at the beginning, and the beneficial side to getting Brood down right at the beginning is that Brood will spit out the basilisks. So obviously you've got all the dragons up and about, and they're going to be doing lots and lots of damage to you from lots of different sources. So you want to like make sure that you can get as much damage on like a dragon that's going to give you a fight for your life, and that's the benefit. That's pretty much the only benefit I can think of, like the basilisks. I can't really think of anything else that they do, except be useful for second wins. So yeah, I would focus all of my fire at the beginning on Brood. Once you've got Brood down, I generally like to go to Helianth. Helianth is the like shock dragon. Obviously she's going to strip your your shields pretty quickly, so it's quite nice to get her down. She also heals all the other dragons, so like if you've done any damage to like any of the dragons before you've got Helianth down, there's a good chance that within like 1 or 2 landings, then she's going to like heal the other dragons, and like you can pretty much forget about all of the damage that you've done to them. So yeah, I find it really beneficial just to get Helianth down as quickly as possible. And then after that, I mean, it's a toss-up. It just depends on how much damage you're doing. If you just like can't be asked to change out to like another shock relic, then I'd save Incinerator till last, just because like a level 65 Incinerator Really isn't too much of a problem. You can get a level 65 incinerator down in like 1 or 2 landings, and that's all there really is to it. But the reason why I like to do boost next is because boost is like really weak. I think boost has like the same amount of health and like damage threshold as like say brood at the beginning. So like within like 1 or 2 landings, I generally like to do it in 1 landing. You can get boost down, and that's pretty much just leaves you with 1 dragon left, and that is Incinerator. Incinerator is like, I don't know, it seems to have like the same amount of health as like Helianth. Quite a lot of like, I don't know, it generally takes like 1 landing, but if you're lucky you can do it like, I don't know, you can do it in 1 landing if you're lucky, but sometimes it can take 2. She seems to have a lot of health, but she is also the only dragon that's resistant to fire, so I like to do her last just because I can switch out to a Shock Sandhawk with a Shock Bone of the Ancients, I think it's called. I'm not really too sure, but it's the Ancient E-Tech relic that adds to your shock damage, and it also increases your cooldown rate, which is pretty good. I'm going to show you all of the kit I use right here. And yeah, I mean, that boss fight took like 4 or 5 minutes, 6 minutes maybe. That's not really too bad. It's not really too bad at all. I mean, if you're looking to do this even quicker, then I don't know, you can maybe get boost down at the end and like swap out your relics even more. But if you're lazy, like I am, then you'll just do it right at the end. But these guys, they drop like a shit ton of iridium. I think they drop about 70 every single time, which isn't going to open all of the chests behind these guys with 2 rolls. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of iridium. It means that you're going to be able to do other boss fights and stuff. And yeah, it's generally just a little bit more useful now. But these guys, they've got like a pretty bad drop rate. I'd say it's probably like the same as like all of the other raid bosses in the game. I don't know, it's just random is random. Like your luck is your luck. I mean, you're not going to get a legendary every single time. You're not going to get a legendary maybe once in 10 times. But I don't know, on this fight I actually managed to get a Hellfire, which I've got from them like a couple of times. I don't know if it's like a more guaranteed drop to get a Hellfire from these guys. I don't know if it's like a designated drop or if they just drop random shit. I don't really know, but I do get a Hellfire from these guys, which is pretty cool. I rarely get anything in the chests. But yeah, I mean, random is random, your luck is your luck, so I don't know, that's going to completely just depend on you and whatever. But yeah, it's a pretty easy gunfight. I would say it's a lot easier to do this with Sal, obviously because you can do a lot of damage and tank a lot of damage at the same time. But then next to that, I'd probably say Maya's pretty easy because you can get Immolate on the first dragon, and that pretty much just leaves you with the other 3 dragons. And also the thing about Maya is with, I think it's Wreck, you can like guaranteed slag them every single time when they've landed. So that's always very beneficial if you can slag them when they land. But yeah, there's the Hellfire, and after this I'm going to be going over to Vermivorous, which I've put off for a long time because obviously you need to grind to get Vermivorous to spawn. Which is a little bit of a pain in the ass, but yeah, I'll see you on the other side, and we'll talk about Vermivorous when I see you there. Peace out. And we are back. We are back in Caustic Caverns. And Caustic Caverns is my area of choice where I like to get Vermi to spawn. The reason why I like Caustic Caverns is because I like to piss off all the Varkids, run around in a circle a little bit, then I run over into that like little hut that's next to the Chrysalisk, and then when I'm in the hut, I just shoot, and it generally aggroes the Chrysalisk. And at the same time you get the Varkids to aggro the Chrysalisk as well, and then the Chrysalisk just tanks loads of damage, and they generally just do the job for you. But there you go, there he is, the Supreme Badass Pod. Obviously I think a lot of you guys will know how this guy pods up. I think you guys will know the stages and stuff, but he starts off as generally just like any Varkid. It can be absolutely any Varkid at all. There's just a percentage chance that he's going to level up, and I think it's only like a 10% chance that he's going to turn into like a Vermi or something from an Ultimate Badass if you got 4-player difficulty on. I'll quickly talk about 4-player difficulty as well, because that's pretty much paramount in this if you're going to get to do this guy solo. Basically, to get 4-player difficulty on, if you're on console, you're going to need to have DLC 1. And what that's going to let you do is you visit the raid bosses from DLC 1 beforehand. That's going to put 4-player difficulty on. And that will basically just say to your game there's 4 players in the game, and that will increase the chance of Vermi actually spawning. So you can get him to spawn with like any amount of players, but obviously with more players in the game, it increases the chances by a considerable amount indeed. I think I've looked at the table of like his spawn rate, or like his percent chance of going into like Supreme Badass, and from from start to finish with just one player in the game. I think the chances are like 1 in 1,000 or something ridiculous like that. So yeah, it's pretty much paramount to actually ensure that you have got 4-player difficulty on. If you're on console, then the only way to do that is to visit the DLC 1 raid bosses. On PC, of course, you can get a 4-player difficulty slider, which is probably a lot less simple than actually having to get DLC 1. So sorry console players, you're going to have to buy more DLC if you want to get this guy to spawn. But I don't know, he's pretty easy to defeat. He does do a lot of damage, obviously, because he is in 4-player difficulty. If you have got other players in the game, it's going to be much easier to defeat this guy. But he's huge, he's absolutely huge, and his AI, it's not amazing. There's a few ways to kill him in different areas. I wasn't really too sure in this area, so I do die, I do go down, and I do respawn, and luckily he hasn't despawned as well. But yeah, I wasn't really too sure would be a good glitch spot to shoot him from. Obviously you can just keep running around and shoot him from different vantage points and stuff, but I don't know, he hits for a lot of damage, as you can see there. I'm not really too sure if I put myself down with a magic missile, if he did that, but it's a 2-shot kill, so yeah, you just really need to be really careful. In Tundra Express, if you go to the farmhouse, you can shoot him through the walls, which is pretty funny. He can't do any damage to you at all through the walls, and you can just sit there on top of a barrel, on top of the stairs, and just shoot him through the walls, which is pretty fucking hilarious if you ask me. But I do work out a pretty good glitch spot. I don't know if this is going to work every single time. He'll probably be able to get you with ranged attacks in this little glitch spot. But if you're just I don't know, if you manage to kite him over towards you without him doing little projectiles or anything like that, then yeah, I'd say this is a pretty good glitch spot. I basically just as I've worked out, this area doesn't really work out too well. So I change up my tactic and I find this little dumpster over here. I don't know if it's a dumpster or just a little bin, and I just sit behind it, and I just shoot him and he can't get me, which is absolutely amazing. You know, hats off to Gearbox AI. It's really clever. But yeah, I mean, it takes a few minutes. It's pretty easy. I was thinking of actually including the Iron Golem, because he's a hidden sort of boss. I don't know if he's a hidden raid boss or anything like that. I think he's got about the same sort of health as the raid bosses or something like that. Obviously because he does go up to level 72, but I don't know, he doesn't have invincible at the end of his name, so I don't know if it really counts. But yeah, as you can see, he's frantically teabagging my face, and I'm just able to shoot him in the crit spots, and yeah, it's really, really easy. I'm using a fire sandhawk with a fire bone of the ancients, I think it's called, and yeah, that just works out really, really well. Kills him pretty quick, and that's that. That's the end of the series, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. It will be resuming when they release more DLC, but for now there are no more raid bosses. I will be trying to get speed kills on them and stuff, which will still be posted. And if there's anything cool or I discover anything cool in the game, I will be posting Borderlands 2 still, but it will just be there's no series or anything like that. There'll just be speed kills on the raid bosses and stuff. But anyway, as I said, I might include the Iron Golem at the end of this. I'm not really too sure, because it's already coming up to about 14 or 15 minutes. But anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this series as always. And yeah, I'll see you for the next one. Peace out.